Hi and welcome on this tutorial video on EasyPDFTakeoff. In this video we're going to go for some of the features of the software. So let's get started. We're going to go on the menu on the right and we're going to create a new project. I'm going to call this Demo Takeoff. You will need a PDF drawing to work with. For this one I will use one that I've already created. I'm going to click OK. And the software is going to import the drawings. If you click on the pictures, it will give you a preview of what the page is. You can also go ahead and rename some of the pages. So for example, I can call this 3D view, and I'll call this one top view. You can select multiple pages by holding down the control button. If you're not going to use some of the pages in your project, you may wish to delete them. You just select a couple pages and go up here to remove pages to get rid of them from a scope. Also, you might find that some pages you're going to use as a reference, so you might want to add them as a bookmark. If you select a page and click Add to Bookmarks, it's going to create a reference in the program which you can access later on. After cleaning up the pages to make it easier to navigate the project, it's time to do a takeoff. What you're going to do is you're going to select the pages that you want to work with, and you're going to go in the menu and click Load Pages. This will create a link to a page on the workspace. If you look on the bookmark menu, you will see the bookmark you created show up here. The software is intended to be used with multiple monitors, so if you click here, it will open up a new window on my other monitor. You can have multiple windows open at the same time to use a reference. You can move around on the page by holding out the control key. This software makes the assumption that your pages are not going to be to scale. So the first thing you'd want to do is calibrate the page. To do this, we're going to go to the Scale button and click this. We're going to need to have a reference dimension, something that is known. We're going to go here and click on Manual Adjustment, and we're going to use, let's say, the 16-inch dimension as a reference point. We're going to drag the line and click the right mouse button to select. We're going to enter the known dimension here and change the units to inches. Click OK, and the page is calibrated. You will need to do this for all the pages that you're going to work with.
You can use the middle mouse button to zoom in and out of the page. You can also hold down the control key on the keyboard to go into pen mode and move a page around. There's also a little shortcut at the bottom of the screen which allows you to center the page or to restore the view. At the top of a page, you have the menu to navigate the project. If you want to go back to page navigation, you can click here. The pages that are selected are going to have a green border around them. If you want to add more pages to the scope of a project, you can simply select them, or you can hold down the control key on the keyboard to select multiple pages, and then you click Load. Tabs at the top of the screen here allow you to navigate the different open pages. These pages are part of the scope of a project, so later on you'll be able to print them out in the report. Now that we have the navigation down, let's take a look at some different takeoff items that we can create. The first and the simplest one is the line tool. This tool allows you to do simple length calculations. You simply select a point, click and drag, and use the left mouse button to finish the line. The next one is going to be the polyline tool. This is a more advanced shape that allows you to create connected points. You use the left mouse button to put down the points, and then you use the right mouse button to terminate them. The next tool is going to be the rectangle tool. This is a simple area measuring tool. You can use it to do rectangles. You simply hold down the left mouse button and drag. The next item is going to be the advanced area tool or polyline area tool. This is similar to the polyline where you select points and drag them to create a form and area. You use the right mouse button to terminate or end the selection. Lastly, we have the count tool. The count tool allows you to count different objects on the drawing. So for example, if I want to count these posts, I can just simply click on them to automatically make a count. If you need to make a change to the lines, you can simply click on it, which will make little points visible at the ends. You can use these points to drag the objects around and resize them. On the rectangle tools, you can also move them around as well. Now let's take a look at some other tools that are left over in the palette. Over here, you can call this a highlighter tool. This is used to highlight different portions of a project. This is a little takeoff note tool, which allows us to make notes on the project. You simply select it here, and you can move it around to select points of interest. Lastly, we have the ruler tool. This is a basic checking tool you can use to check the distance between 2 points. If you made a mistake and you need to remove an item, you simply left click on it to select it and click the delete key. Over here on the right, this is where the totals for the takeoff items are shown. If you have a more complex takeoff, you can also use something that's called a takeoff group. This basically acts like a folder that separates the different items. You can click here, which will create a different item. So next time you create more takeoff items, they'll show up under this category here. At the top here, you have a menu for controlling the takeoff groups. So for example, there's a focus tool, which allows you to zoom in onto specific objects. Show all tool, which shows everything. There's also a rename tool, which allows you to edit the name of your takeoffs items. Here is the menu for modifying the properties of the different takeoff items. If I click on this line, it's going to bring up some different options here. This top portion here applies to the entire group. So for example, if I change the color, it's going to modify the properties of this entire item group. Some things you can change is the name, add a comment to what it means, change the thickness, and also apply a rate or a cost, which will be calculated in the report. This one here you can do later on. The menu under it applies to the specific instance of the takeoff item. Some options that can modify, for example, are the count. If this item shows up multiple times, or for example in different levels, you can simply put in a count and it will multiply the quantity by that amount. The multiple is used similar to count, but it has a decimal point. This is more to modify or manually modify the quantity of the item. The third item you can change is the slope. I mostly use this one here when I have a situation where the item is perpendicular to a surface and you want to have a degree to it to modify the calculations. So for example, if I put 35 degrees, it's going to make this item a hypotenuse and modify my quantity to suit. Most of the objects you're going to create are going to have extended properties. One that's very useful is actually on the count tool. This one here can be used both to count physical objects, but it can also be used to add rates. So for example, if I want to figure out an extra cost, for example, a helper, I can create a counter and use that. Now we can change the text. I can give it a rate, and for example, if I need multiple people to help me on a job, I can put this in, and I can put in how many hours they work, and this will be able to calculate on the report this extra cost. To define your takeoff items, they will apply to all pages on your project. So for example, if I switch pages, I can simply select this item by clicking on the menu and continue to draw it. The total of this item will be totaled for the entire project and added up together to give you an estimate. After you're done with Takeoff, you can get the information in different reports. Let's take a look at this now. When you click the report button, it's going to bring up a summary for your project. You will have an option to select some properties. So for example, if you do your pricing in different units, you can click here and convert that. In the rate, you can set how much it will cost per that unit. And the totals will be calculated. This is just a temporary report that shows up in the app. You can actually permanently export the information. You can do a export to Excel, and you can do an export to PDF. Let's try this now. There you go. This is a report which shows you the totals and calculates the values. Now, there is another report that you can use. This is called the Pages Export. If you click on this, it will give you an option to select the pages. It will automatically populate the pages that are actually part of your project. It will save it to your local file, and you can open it up. This report, I would call this the project scope. I typically use this to review the takeoff of a client. And sometimes I attach it to the contract to make sure that the scope is fully captured. This report will show the takeoff items for each page and also show you the total quantity on the left here. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial video for EasyPDF Takeoff, and if you have any questions or issues, please feel free to email us and let us know. Thanks.